My name is Jennifer, and I want to tell you about what the Lord has done in my life. I grew up, I was actually born sick. I was put on narcotic drugs from the time I was 6 months old. I always had just different stomach problems and pain throughout my body and different things. I grew up in a very broken home in the very inner city, poverty, all of those things, and dealt with mental health problems with my mom, different things that were going on with her. It was a very emotionally strenuous environment, and by the age of 13, I actually ran away from home and went out on my own into the world. As I got older, at the age of 16, well, let me back up. By the age of 15, I had started smoking marijuana. I was on different drugs, things like this. And again, still, I just never really felt 100% or well from the time I was born. I always had something going on where I just didn't feel good all the time. So by the age of 16, I actually got pregnant at the age of 16 for my first daughter and had a baby. By the time I was 20, I had another baby. And that's when things really started to even take a worse turn as far as my health. I developed epilepsy and Crohn's disease. I would have seizures, sometimes 5 seizures or more, even a day. I was extremely sick as a single mom trying to provide for 2 children and work. I found myself self medicating through alcohol or marijuana, different drugs. Obviously, the doctors prescribed me quite a bit of pain medications and different things like that as well. And this just seemed to be kind of a cycle in my life of just trying to get through the day and do what needed to be done. The doctors really never seemed to have a solution or an answer for me. I was very miserable, very unhappy, and this went on for many, many years. I would have times where I would be able to keep a job and even, get ahead a little bit, followed by times where I would again just lose everything, not know how I was going to provide for my children, not know what I was going to do. And then that would just push me into more, resentment, anger at the world in general. I didn't really have a relationship with God. I had went to Sunday school when I was a kid, but I really didn't, feel like God cared about my life or what was going on with me. Obviously, I believed that God could heal people if he wanted, but I didn't understand all the doctrine behind it or exactly what that looked like or meant. All I knew is that in my life, I was dealing with something every single day, and I didn't really feel like God even knew I existed or that he cared, or maybe I deserved what had happened because of the decisions I made. There were so many just different things that would go through my mind, but basically, I was just in a mode of survival every single day, just trying to get through the day to the next day, hoping that I would find something that would maybe help with the pain and the sickness. I could barely eat anything. Um, by the time I actually it got really bad. It was probably like 10 or 15 years out from there. Um, it got really, really bad to the point that I was down to 90 pounds. I really couldn't eat anything with the Crohn's. It was just like so flared up that anything I ate would come up. Um, it was a terrible way to even live at all. I found myself getting in deeper and deeper with the pain medications and the different things like that. And eventually, what happened is I ended up in jail, actually, for not for pain medication, but for something else that I did that was stupid. So I ended up in jail, which was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. And while I was in there, I lost everything. Um, I sat there and there was a lady that came in. She did the chapel and I actually cried out to God for the first time just sitting there wondering like, it just seems to keep getting worse. Like nothing is actually ever improving. Everything just gets worse and worse. Now I'm in jail and sick and I had had a seizure in there and the lady that did the chapel asked me what was wrong and I told her I said, Miss Phyllis, that was her name. I said I had a seizure and I don't want to be in here. I don't deserve to be in here. They're not feeding me right. I'm very sick. This isn't cool. No one deserves this. And I was just crying, and she said, "Lift your hands." And she began to pray for me. And I felt the power of God go through my body for the first time. And I shook, and it felt like electricity just going through me. And I knew God was healing me right then. And that moment, I was instantly healed from epilepsy and Crohn's disease, and also an egg allergy. Um, and I decided that in that moment that I was going to change my life. I started reading the Bible. I started serving God. And from there, it's been 6 years. I've never had another seizure. I don't have any more pain in my body. I'm actually able to work. I actually own a business now, and I'm also a full-time Bible school student. So when I couldn't even hardly hold a job down before, now I'm actually holding not only full-time school, but also a full-time business. So if I just can be an encouragement to anybody right now, it's that God can take any situation that you're in, no matter how bad it is, no matter what you've done right or wrong, no matter how hopeless it actually seems, and he can turn it around. So be blessed.